Welcome to another deep dive. Tonight, we're plunging into something, well, something we all do every night, dreaming. But we often just brush it off, right? Random images may be a bit weird. But what if dreams are actually much, much more than that? What if they're kind of a hidden space for self-discovery? Maybe even challenging what we think we know about who we are. That's exactly what we want to unpack today. We're looking at the ideas of Melvin Jayson Ogbalu, especially from his really fascinating work, Dreamscapes of the Self, Consciousness Unbound. And we're aiming to give you a shortcut, really, to understanding some surprising things about how your own mind works, pushing back on maybe some ideas you've held about yourself for a long time.
Exactly. Our mission here is to explore how Ogbalu shows us that identity isn't this fixed point. Something solid you just are. Instead, it seems to be incredibly fluid, always shifting, and maybe nowhere is that clearer than in our dreams. So this deep dive should give you a new way to think about, well, both your dreams and your waking self.
Yeah, we'll look at how dreams can be this uh, playground for the mind, as Ogbalu puts it, where
Yeah.
who you are can blur, transform. It's pretty wild stuff. Which leads to this idea of our multiplicity of selves, that we're not just one thing, but maybe many potential selves. And we'll touch on lucid dreaming too, and how even memory isn't fixed, how it actually helps reconstruct who we are. Okay, let's dive in.
Let's do it.
So starting with Ogbalu's core idea in Dreamscapes of the Self, he really wants us to stop seeing dreams as just, I don't know, nighttime hallucinations, random static.
Right. He argues they're more like these intricate psychological laboratories, almost a kind of nocturnal theater.
A theater where the boundaries of your identity, your sense of you just kind of dissolve, become malleable.
Exactly. And that's the key point. It fundamentally challenges how we usually think about identity. For ages, people have talked about a fixity of self, this idea of one core unchanging you. Ogbalu really pushes against that. He suggests that in dreams, identity is more like a performance, constantly shape-shifting. It's a fluid process, always becoming something.
Like the difference between a photo and a movie. Waking self is the snapshot, dream self is the whole film.
That's a great way to put it. It's dynamic, alive.
And then he takes it even further, talking about being the protagonist, the observer, and the landscape in a dream.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, protagonist, observer, I sort of get that.
Uh-huh.
But being the landscape, what does that actually feel like? Is it like everything blurring together?
It points towards something really profound, maybe what some traditions call non-duality. It's not just that you're in the dream environment, you are it. So if you're dreaming of a forest, you're not just walking through it. You might feel you are the trees, the wind, the ground itself. It's a complete dissolving of that subject-object boundary we take for granted when we're awake.
Wow.
Yeah. And Ogbalu sees this as hinting at, as he puts it, the most radical truth about human consciousness, that maybe we aren't these single separate things. We're more like a continuous unfolding, a field of potential.
Which seems to lead directly into his concept of the multiplicity of self in dreams. The idea that we're not bound by the rigid constraints of physical reality or linear narrative.
Exactly. It's this space where all these different facets of you can come out and play, so to speak. Different potentials, different ways of being.
So what does that look like in an actual dream? Can you give some examples?
Sure. Well, you might literally find yourself in multiple bodies at once. Maybe you're watching yourself from above while also being the person on the ground. Or you could be young and old simultaneously experiencing the same dream event from both perspectives.
Oh, okay.
Or think about traveling through what he calls impossible geographies. Cities where gravity works sideways, landscapes that morph instantly from, say, a desert into an ocean. And then there are the emotions you might feel, things in dreams that are way more complex or intense or just different than anything you feel awake. Feelings that maybe don't even have names.
So bringing this back to us, the listener,
Yeah.
what's the takeaway? Is it that we're not really just one person?
In a way, yes. Ogbalu suggests this multiplicity shows that identity is not a fixed point, but a dynamic, ever-shifting constellation, like a whole galaxy of experiences, emotions, potential selves that make up the larger you.
It's a much more expansive view of ourselves than we usually consider.
Definitely. And it naturally leads to the question, can we consciously explore this fluidity?
Which brings us to lucid dreaming.
Precisely. Ogbalu calls lucid dreams the ultimate frontier of identity exploration. Because here, you're not just experiencing the dream, you become aware you're dreaming, and you can potentially influence it. You're the subject and the director.
Okay, this is where it gets really exciting, isn't it? Because if consciousness is this malleable medium in a lucid dream, what can you actually do?
Well, The possibilities are pretty vast. You could intentionally reshape the dream environment, right? Turn a nightmare scene into something beautiful or conjure up an object you need.
Like changing the set on your own movie stage.
Exactly. Or you could engage in deliberate role playing. Try on different identities. What's it like to fly? What's it like to be someone else entirely? You can explore that directly.
And confront things too, like subconscious fears or problems.
Yes, that's a huge potential benefit. Direct confrontation with subconscious narratives. You can face that recurring monster or have a dialogue with a dream figure representing a real-life issue, all while knowing it's a dream and you have some control.
Give us a vivid example. What might a lucid dreamer actually do?
Okay, imagine someone realizes they're dreaming. They might decide, I want to fly, and then they focus, leap, and actually feel that sensation of soaring over rooftops. Pure exhilaration.
Wow.
Or maybe they transform, they decide to become, say, a dolphin, and suddenly they feel the water rushing past, the sense of swimming, seeing the underwater world, a totally different perspective.
Or dealing with something deeper.
Right. Maybe they have a recurring nightmare about being chased. In a lucid dream, they could choose to stop, turn around, and actually ask the figure chasing them, what do you want?
And they're aware they're doing this while dreaming.
Yes, that's the meta-awareness part. They know it's a dream, and they're actively participating. It's like having this incredibly personalized, safe space to explore your inner world, work through things, even practice skills.
So moving beyond lucid dreams, even our regular non-lucid dreams aren't just random noise, according to Ogbalu. They're woven from, well, everything, right? Memories, fears, hopes.
Absolutely. He calls them complex tapestries woven from the threads of our memories, fears, desires, and unresolved experiences. They're deeply personal stories our minds are telling themselves.
And what about recurring dreams? Those must be significant.
Hugely significant. Ogbalu sees them as a window into our evolving psychological landscape. Think about, say, a recurring dream of being lost in a labyrinth. Maybe one night the walls feel closing in, reflecting stress at work. Another night you find a small opening you didn't see before, maybe mirroring a breakthrough you had. The dream changes subtly as you change.
So it's not just the same dream repeating.
No, each time it offers a slightly different perspective, reflecting where you are psychologically at that moment. It's like your subconscious is processing things, trying to make sense of challenges or integrate experiences.
Ogbalu says, each iteration of such a dream subtly reshapes our understanding of self, like a sculptor continuously refining a sculpture.
I like that image.
It's a great analogy. It's this constant feedback loop. The dream reflects you, and experiencing the dream, even unconsciously, subtly changes your self-perception.
And this ties into his other work too, right? On memory itself, the shifting sands of self.
Yes, perfectly. He emphasizes that memory isn't like hitting play on a video recorder. It's not fixed. Every time we remember something, our brain actually rebuilds that memory. It's more like re-editing the film each time you watch it, maybe adding new commentary or changing the focus based on who you are now.
Can you give an everyday example of that?
Sure. Think about a childhood memory. Maybe you remember standing up to a bully. When you first recalled it, you might have focused on how scared you were.
But years later, as an adult who sees yourself as more confident, when you recall that same event, you might unconsciously emphasize your bravery. Maybe even slightly alter the details to fit your current self-image. You become the brave one in the retelling.
Or how siblings can remember the same holiday completely differently.
Exactly. Or think about a past relationship. After a breakup, looking back, suddenly everything might seem like a string of red flags, even things that didn't feel that way at the time. Your current emotional state is literally coloring the memory.
So our memories aren't reliable.
It's not about reliability in a factual sense necessarily. What's fascinating here, Ogbalu argues, is that this flexibility, this power to reinterpret our past is actually crucial. It allows us to learn, to grow, and importantly, to heal.
How so?
Well, if memories were totally fixed, we could be trapped by negative experiences forever. But because we can recontextualize them, find new meaning, maybe forgive ourselves or others based on new understanding, we can move forward. It helps us adapt.
So this fluidity, this ability to forget details or rewrite the narrative, it's actually a gift.
He frames it that way, a gift of forgetting and rewriting, like changing the lighting on a photo. The core event is there, but how you see it, what it means to you now, can change.
So memory isn't just about who we were.
It's also actively shaping who we are and who we're becoming. It gives us the brush, as you said earlier, to paint our future self based on how we interpret our past.
Wow. Okay, so connecting this fluid dream identity and this reconstructive memory, It really bumps up against some big philosophical questions, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Ogbalu dives right into those.
Yeah.
Questions like, if we can be so many different things in dreams and our past is always being subtly reshaped, what actually is our core self?
Right. Are we just the sum total of all these shifting experiences and memories? Or is there something else, something constant underneath?
And how much of who we think we are is something we've constructed versus something inherent? Dreams really push these questions to the forefront.
It makes me think of that old philosophical puzzle, the ship of Theseus. Does Ogbalu talk about that?
He does, yes. It's a perfect analogy. The ship whose planks are replaced one by one until none of the original wood is left. Is it still the same ship?
And if you build a new ship from all the old discarded planks, which one is the real ship of Theseus?
Exactly. Now apply that to us. Every cell in our body replaces itself over years. Our thoughts, beliefs, experiences, memories, they're constantly changing, evolving. Are you the same person you were 10 years ago?
Good question. Probably not, in many ways.
Right. Think about people who go through huge life changes, recovering from addiction, changing careers entirely, having a spiritual awakening. Are they still the same person, or have they become someone new?
The paradox really holds up a mirror to how fluid we actually are.
It does. And the dream state, where we can literally embody different selves, different forms, different realities night after night, it kind of lives out that paradox. It strongly suggests that identity is maybe less about staying the same.
And more about adapting, changing.
Yes. Less about a fixed definition, more about potential. Perhaps the constant isn't a fixed self, but the process of changing, the consciousness, experiencing it all. This raises an important question, doesn't it? If we're so fluid in dreams, maybe that same potential exists more than we realize when we're awake.
So wrapping this up, it seems clear from Ogbalu's perspective that dreams aren't just fluff. They're not just side effects of sleep.
Not at all. He sees them as profound explorations of human potential. They're the space where we get to rehearse different ways of being, face things we avoid when awake, imagine completely new possibilities for ourselves.
They're an active part of how we build and understand who we are.
Definitely. His conclusion is really powerful. The dream world acts like a mirror, reflecting our fundamental nature. And that nature isn't static, like a rock. It's dynamic, like a river.
A river of consciousness, constantly flowing, changing, and reimagining ourselves. I like that.
It's a very freeing way to think about ourselves, isn't it?
It really is. So in dreams, and perhaps in life too, identity is not a noun, but a verb, an ongoing creative act of becoming.
Beautifully put. It's something you do continuously.
Which leaves us with a thought for you, the listener, to take away. Maybe something to ponder before you sleep tonight. What new version of you might be waiting to be explored or perhaps even created in your next dream? Pay attention. It might be more than just a dream. It could be your own personal laboratory for becoming.